I have used the Lothric Knight Longspear for 4 years. I used this weapon for the first time on April 19th, 2016, just a few days after the release of the game. Here I am, 2020, and it's still the only weapon in Vanilla Dark Souls 3 that I religiously use. It's what I built my build around. I have never picked up the meta. I don't use meta armor or weapons like straight swords, murky hand scythe, claymore. I don't abuse bugs, or I don't swap to Gundyrs on Wake Up. I've never even equipped the Hornet Ring. I would claim this weapon it was a top weapon if it wasn't for offhand crossbow with explosive bolts, or passive straight sword R1s, or any number of exploits used by the meta community today. But I still think this weapon's pretty good. Despite my opinion on the weapon, most people think this weapon is rather weak in comparison to the other spears available given the current 2020 meta. On a 30 Faith and Intelligence Dark build, the Lothric Knight Longspear has an AR of 490, while the more popular choice, the 4-pronged plow, has an AR of 485. The length is about the same. The plow has less stat requirements, only requiring 13 strength and 11 dex, where the Lothric Knight Spear requires 14 strength and 20 dex. Plow also weighs 1.5 units less. The Lothric Knight Longspear also loses the most popular spear attack in the game, the running R1, which is actually what some people switch to it for. People will switch from their dark infused Lothric Knight straight sword to their dark infused 4-pronged plow and just spam the running R1 to their heart's content. To replace that, the Lothric Knight Longspear gets an attack that's referred to as Awful, with low damage, no tracking, using almost all of your stamina.
Ow, you're actually hurting me.
And leaving you open right for a backstab. The Lothric Knight Longspear has the charge weapon art, and while it gets a bit more respect today, I remember early in Dark Souls 3 when nearly every player thought this weapon art was a free parry, and I'd say even now it's still one of the easiest attacks to parry in the whole game, with a slow startup animation, tons of hitboxes, very poor tracking. Even if they can't parry, they're likely to just dodge to the side. The icing on the cake is that this is a pike weapon, and for those of you who aren't informed, pike weapons are almost the exact same as spears, with the exception that the one-handed moveset is slowed down by a lot. Not only that, but it also usually loses a whole lot of damage. I would go so far as to say one-handed pikes are completely unviable without the use of an offhand weapon, and even then, you'd be better off with a stronger main-hand weapon in the first place. Because of this decreased viability, the Lothric Knight Longspear is basically a two-handed only weapon. You can't run around with a parry tool or hug a shield for passive protection. Why would you make your build around this weapon that requires so much from you, loses the best attacks of the class, and barely gains any damage on the most popular build in the game? Well, get ready for this.